Hey and welcome back to my channel. If you've got the gingerbread theme going on at your house, I think you're really going to enjoy this video. I got a little gingerbread girl, a little gingerbread guy, super easy to make. If you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm starting with two 2.5-inch ornaments, and I'm going to spray paint them with a Rust-Oleum Nutmeg paint. And they were just a little bit dark compared to my fabric, so I came back in and painted them with some Apple Barrel Classic Caramel paint. Now you don't have to spray paint these with a color, but if you spray paint them with any kind of base, it makes the painting go on a little bit easier, so you could do a base coat with anything. Next, I'm taking a Dollar Tree pool noodle and I'm cutting it at 3 inches in length. And I'm going to do two of these. I'm going to do a gingerbread man and a gingerbread lady. To give it a little separation between the body and the head, I am coming in and shaving off some to kind of give it a neck area. Just kind of shave it till you have it comes in a little bit farther. For the body, I'm just taking some tan fleece. It measures 7 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to glue down the 4 1/4 side and fold my fabric over and let that dry. And then I'm going to turn it right side out and I'm going to slide it up over the top part of my body, and then I'm going to take some needle and thread and we're going to sew a casing at the top to draw that in. And using a heavy duty thread, I'm just coming right around the top part, making like 1/4 inch stitches all the way around, and then we're going to draw this up. And this will pull it in to where it looks like it has a neck before you put your head into that little hole in the noodle. And they don't have to be perfect because we're going to cover all that up, but you just want to make sure you get it drawn in. And then once you get it all the way around to the opposite side, pull it tight. But don't tie it off yet because we're going to put the head in first. And we're just going to glue it right down into the center. And then go ahead and draw your fabric up there and then tie that off. And then add a bead of glue all the way around the edge here and push the head down and hold it until your glue dries. Okay, next pull the fabric down to the bottom, tuck it in. You want a little bit of overhang on the noodle so you don't see the noodle, and then glue that in. But you want to pull it in there enough to where you don't have it come back out. Just kind of tuck it up around that noodle and then put a little dab of glue all the way around to hold it in place. If you're making the couple, build this one exactly like you did the other one. Okay, we're going to use this pattern. It's in the description below in both PDF and SVG. The top part will be cut out of fleece. The bottom part will be cut out of craft foam. And we're using the Dollar Tree Party Favor shoes. If you can't find those shoes, you can use the pattern in the description below to make them from scratch. I've included a link for that as well. And we're going to start by putting a couple little nuts in the bottom to give it weight to the toe. And you can put anything you want to. You can put a rock in here, but just do put some kind of weight in here. And then we're going to start by taking our fabric, our shoe fabric, and we're going to come right around the top part edge from the front toe all the way up to about here. And then we're going to stop and we're going to go down the back to glue the back down. Now that way it'll leave the opening in the front to put the leg in, and just glue those two together and set those aside and make one exactly like that for the other shoe. Okay, and most fleece has a furry side and a smooth side. I am gluing onto the furry side because that's the side I want to show when I turn my shoes right side out. Next, we'll take a 1/4 inch by 6 inch dowel stick and sharpen one end. And drill a hole into my cork. I'm just taking a 1/4 inch drill bit and drilling right through it. Now, if you don't want to drill this, you can take your stick and just keep pushing it in there. You don't have to go all the way through it. Try to get about halfway through it, but this is a little bit easier way, and it's not that hard to do. So we're going to take our dowel sticks and we're going to mark them at 3.5 inches. And then we're going to take some miter shears just to cut those off. And you're going to do both of them exactly the same. And then run the sharp end through your cork till you have it all the way down to the bottom, and do the same thing with the other 3 if you are making both the man and the lady. To build the shoes, go ahead and take your fabric, turn it right side out, and you're going to pull it down over the top part of the shoe until you can feel it coming over the curve. And I put a little extra fabric on here to make it a little bit easier to hold, and then glue the front part in, and then we're going to glue the back part in as well. Just make sure that your seam does go right down the center. And then let those dry for a minute. Then we're going to tuck the top part in and we'll put our cork inside to hold that all in. So push your fabric down inside of there, add a little glue down to the bottom part of the shoe, and push your cork all the way down to the bottom. And then go ahead and finish gluing all the way around the shoe. And then we're going to trim the rest of this off here in a second. And you're just going to trim enough to leave about a 1/4 inch overhang because we are going to glue this all to the bottom of the shoe. And then just glue that in straight to the bottom and make sure it is glued flat. And then we're just going to attach our little disc down to the bottom that's made out of craft foam, just the sole to cover it up. And then we're going to take one of those other strips that we cut out of craft foam to go all the way around the shoe to cover all that edge up. Just start at the back, glue that in, and then kind of pull it as you're going around it, and you will have to trim it off once you get to the end. Just do make sure that you do get that trimmed in good and it is solid against the sole of the shoe. Okay, then you do all the other shoes exactly the same way. For the legs, we're going to take our fabric strip and we're going to glue up one side about a 1/4 inch. And this is going to be for the legs. Okay, then wrap it around your shoe and you are going to trim off just a little bit. I did have these a little bit long. And then we're going to start in the very center, put our fabric on top, and then go all the way around to the back, gluing this in. And you want to glue at the bottom of the shoe and the bottom of the cork and the top of the cork. And do that for all 4 shoes. As you attach the legs to the body, make sure the seam's in the back, and you're going to come on each side of the noodle and just push those straight in. And then once you get them exactly where you want them, pull them back out and we're going to glue them in. Okay, then to keep your noodle from melting, just put the glue onto the stick itself and put it up in there. That way your noodle won't melt. If you put that nozzle into the noodle, you're going to melt it. And then do the other one exactly the same way. To make the gingerbread girl's skirt, we're taking a piece of fabric that measures 2 1/4 by 19 inches. And we're going to just glue up a hem on the bottom side, just about a 1/4 inch all the way down. And I'm just using a regular cotton fabric. You can use kind of anything you want to, but cotton worked real good because it does gather well and it does give it more of a nice ruffle. To make the ruffle, you're going to take some needle and thread and you're going to start at the very top and make about 1/2 inch stitches all the way till you get to the other side, and then we'll draw this up. And this doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to cover this up with a piece of ribbon. Just get all the way to the other end and then draw it up. You want to stop about a 1/2 inch from the edge with your sewing. And then we're going to glue down the side that has the knot where we started. And we're going to overlap the other side over that and glue those together. Just make sure that you are not gluing the thread so that you can gather it. And then turn it right side out, pull it right over the top part of the body. And then we're going to gather it on around her waist. And then rethread your needle and we're going to sew this back part to the body. Just do a couple little stitches just to the body. And then tie that off in a knot. Okay, then start gathering it up, kind of even out your gathers, and we're just going to start gluing this around. Just try to get your pleats pretty even. Okay, then we're going to take a ribbon, just a little, I think this is about a 3/4 inch ribbon, put it around the waist, and we're just going to glue it off in the back. This will just give it a nice trimmed edge around the top edge. So I'm going to take some of that same fabric that measures 1 3/4 by 16 inches. I'm going to make a little collar for her neck. And I'm just coming down here at the bottom and doing a 1/4 inch seam. And then we're going to gather the top just like we did the skirt. I'm folding the edge over about 1/4 inch, and that's where I'm going to do my stitches. That way it'll have a nice finished edge on top. And you're just going to gather it all the way till you get to the end, and then we're going to set this aside. We are not going to put this on right now. Okay, for the arms, we're going to take these 2 pieces of fabric and glue them together. I've given you the pattern for these. It's going to be on the shoe pattern. I didn't show it earlier, but I have it on the shoe pattern now. And you're going to cut 4 of these out and glue 2 of them together, leaving the bottom flat edge open. And then we're going to turn them right side out here in a minute, and we're going to stuff these with some polyfill. After those dry, turn them right side out. And I'm just using a pair of pliers because it works really well to help turn things right side out. And I'm just using a bone folder because it has a round curve at the bottom of it just to get the curve at the bottom of the little arm. And then I'm just going to take some polyfill and I'm going to kind of fill it up. I'm not going to overstuff it. I'm just going to kind of fill it up enough just so it does have some weight to it. Okay, next I'm taking a dowel stick that I sharpened on both ends and I'm just going to cut it in half. And this isn't going to be about maybe 1.5 inches long on both sides. And you're going to take your arm, tuck it all in, the raw edge, tuck it in, and then put your stick in there and just glue that in. You just want enough to stick it into the body, so you don't need a lot. But make sure it is completely glued in. Spend a little bit of time on this, kind of cinching it in. And do the same thing with the other arm. Okay, next I'm taking another dowel stick that I sharpened and I'm going to poke it into the sides for the arms. It's easier if you use a longer dowel stick to get it in there and then not using the arm that you just made. So just poke it as far in there as you can and then get the other side in as well. Make sure that they are even and then we're going to glue them in. And you could use an X-Acto knife if you want to, but this works pretty well. Then we're going to pull them back out and we're going to glue them in. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue into the hole, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top part of the arm, right where the stick is. And then just push them in there and hold it in there tight until that glue dries. And then do the same thing with the other arm. Now we're going to add a little ruffle for her neck. Just go right around to the back. And then I'm going to fold over the one side, glue it over so that it has a nice finished edge on it. And then we're going to glue it to the opposite side. Just kind of make sure that they are straight. And I'm gluing it down to the body first. Just get your strings out of the way, glue it to the body, and then you can overlap the other one and glue it over the top of that one. And then we're going to glue the ruffle to the neck as well, and then we're going to trim it out too. In a little time, evening out the little ruffle there, and then we're going to start gluing it in, and we're going to glue it all the way around so it's kind of flat. Just kind of push it down and glue it in at the very, very top. And you're going to go all the way around and glue that in. I'm just taking a piece of Ric Rac. I'm going to start right in the very center and start gluing this in. This will cover up all the little threads that you just did. It just gives it a nice finished edge on the top, trimming it out. And just kind of pull tight there so it is right up right against her neck. I'm adding a little Ric Rac to the arms, just kind of even them out on both sides, and then we're going to glue these in. Now you're going to do the little man exactly the same way, so you're going to do his arms and everything like that exactly the same way, and we're just going to dress him up here in a little bit differently. Now I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 9 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and I'm going to hem up both sides 1/4 inch. These are going to be for the little gingerbread man's pants. And I'm just using about 1/4 inch hem on both of these sides. And then I'm going to take some of that white Ric Rac and I'm going to trim it out. So you just can put one on both sides, covering up where you just hemmed up. And you're going right up close to the edge. You still see a little bit of the red through the Ric Rac, but just kind of come as close to the edge as you can without overhanging it. And then you're going to do the same thing for the opposite side. Okay, then grab your little gingerbread man and we're just going to wrap it right around the bottom of his body. And we're just overhanging the bottom part of the body, probably about 1/2 of an inch. And then we're just going to glue this in. And then I did glue the edge on that one side. As you can see, I guess I didn't do that in the video, but you glue that one edge as well. Dress him up a little bit. I'm just going to add some little ribbon. This is a 1/2 inch red ribbon, and I'm just going to make some little suspenders, and I'm just cutting it off right at the neck. And you're going to do 2 of these, one on both sides. And just come right up underneath his little pants in the front. And we're going to glue those in. And once you get them straight, I'm just going to glue right on top so it just glues it to the pants. And I'm going to glue the back of it and pull it all the way up to his neck. And then we're just going to clip off any excess overhanging. And I'm going to put 2 little buttons down at the bottom just to kind of dress it up a little bit. Next, I'm going to do their faces. Now, if you're not comfortable doing a face, painting a face, and you bought the little frosty faces, you can use their eyes and their mouth. Just take their nose off of there, and then you can draw in a nose. Now, I'm going to draw mine in. I'm just going to take a black pencil, and I'm just going to draw it in first, and then I'm going to go back over it with a Sharpie to finish coloring it in. And I'm going to go fast on this just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm doing both the girl and the boy exactly the same way, except I'm going to add some eyelashes to her. And this really isn't that hard. Just get a picture of some face that you like. Kind of look at funny faces or cute faces online. And then just have a piece of paper next to you so you can kind of mock it up. But if you draw it with a pencil first, it really does help. And then you can just kind of, if you mess it up, honestly, if you're using a Sharpie, you can actually take alcohol to wipe this entire thing off. And then I'm just taking a red marker just to color her nose in. I'm coloring in the bottom part of her eye with the white paint. It's a little paint pen. I'll give you the link for these. These are really good for doing gingerbread projects. And then I'm going to get a couple little circles at the top part just to kind of give a little bit of sparkle to her eyes. And I did the gingerbread man exactly the same way. Give them a little sparkle in their nose. I'm just going to draw a white line right across the top part. Then the little gingerbread circle around their face. I'm just kind of taking the paint pen and kind of doing like a little zigzag all the way around the head. Okay, next to give her little rosy cheeks, I'm just taking some of the Tim Holtz Distressing ink and then just rubbing it around in a circle on her cheeks. Her a little bit more girly, I'm just adding a few little eyelashes to her. Okay, next I'm taking a piece of fleece. It measures 10 inches by 1 inch. And this is going to be for a scarf. I'm just going to wrap it around his neck and come around into the front. So pull it around to the back and then overlap it on the front. And I'm just going to glue it right in. Just a little bit of glue in the front and a little bit of glue in the back. Her up a little bit. I just took a little ribbon and made a little bow. And I'm just going to glue it right to her head. And to finish them out, I'm just going to put a little black button on both of them. Okay, I think these turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.